Good morning. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez, and we are waking up to a pretty rainy morning here across Houston. The roads are wet. If you do have to find yourself driving in these conditions, just make sure to be extra cautious out there. Roads are pretty slick out there, and you don't want to end up in an accident to start off your weekend off on a bad note. But looking at the current roof cam right now, we are seeing some heavy rain now moving into portions of the Galleria area. Not really able to see in the distance across town or across in the distance from our roof camera. But as we take a closer look right now, we're seeing some heavy rain now moving through the city of Houston. This is not severe. We're seeing some couple of lightning strikes with these storms that are now moving in. It's looking like the lightning has totally diminished, but we're just looking at that heavy rainfall that's now approaching I-45 and moving inside the loop across in towards town. And so we are starting to see all of our major roadways starting to be a little bit slick out there. So we haven't received rain in quite some time, and this is much needed rainfall here across Houston. So just be extra cautious. The good news is that we're not looking at any flooding concerns. We're not looking at any severe weather. We're just looking at this nuisance rain that really is going to cause a pretty messy start to our day as we head into the next couple of hours. And this is all thanks to a cold front that's slowly moving through southeast Texas. You're able to see this line of rain and storms that's sort of just draped across our area, and that is the frontal boundary that is slowly making its way south. And we're going to continue to see that through the rest of the morning. And so as we look at the current rainfall accumulations, we've seen some heavier rainfall totals, especially out on the north side of town. So we got up to close to an inch of rain out just south of the North Grand Parkway and around the Spring area, even portions of Katy looking at an inch and a half of rainfall in those locations. These are radar estimated rainfall totals, but it's looking more likely that as this front is continuing to move through Houston, it is moving a little bit of a faster rate across our area. We're just looking at the heavy rain that's currently falling in and across town currently right now. So keep that in mind if you are heading out this morning. We're going to continue to see this line of rain and storms slowly start moving towards our coastal areas through the morning. So I think between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to start seeing this rain sort of wrap up here across the city of Houston. And we're just looking at that frontal boundary just moving offshore, at least into the early afternoon hours. So if you're heading to the coast, I think we're going to start seeing that rain chance starting to increase, especially for the Galveston area later on this afternoon. So looking at currently right now, let's look along the coast. We're not seeing much rain across Galveston, but we will start seeing that move into the Galveston area at least later on in the early morning hours. It's just currently right now that we're looking at more of this heavy rainfall moving through the city of Houston with some lightning strikes with it. So roadways are becoming pretty slick out there. If you don't have to find yourself traveling, maybe just, I know a lot of folks are probably getting an early start to their Thanksgiving shopping or their traveling concerns or their traveling plans through this weekend. But we are looking at some heavy rain now moving through the center of town right now. So if you're heading off to Bush Airport, maybe Hobby Airport, you might want to give yourself enough time to get to those locations because we are seeing some heavy rain along I-45 in and around the Bush Airports. Hobby Airport not seeing rain right now, but we will start seeing this line of heavy rain starting to move closer towards the Hobby Airport area as we head into the next maybe hour or so. So keep that in mind. That is, if you are heading to our two major airports here across Houston, that we are starting to see some slick roadways. And I can only imagine, you know how Houston roadways are. We could start seeing some accidents because roadways are slick. We haven't seen rain in quite some time, and of course, when you have the fresh rain in combination with the oil from vehicles, it really does create slick roads out there if you are traveling along our roadway. So heavy rain right now moving. I'm going to go ahead and show you the now, what we're seeing at now. We have heavy rain now moving along I-45 in and around now moving into the Heights area. So if you are heading up north towards the Bush Airport, we are expecting to see some heavy rain across 45. And now we're starting to see some heavy rain now moving into the Galleria area. The Galleria area is right around here. You have Westheimer Road, you have Uptown and around that location. And so we are seeing those conditions becoming a little bit more with low visibility in terms of driving on the roadways if you are moving across town. And so these are going to be a little slow moving. I don't think we're going to see much of a flood concern, but it's going to be quite some time before these showers and this heavy rain move completely through the city of Houston, all thanks to this cold front. So if you're traveling elsewhere across the state, we're not looking at any issues out in Dallas or even Austin or San Antonio. it's looking more likely that this line of rain and storms is only impacting the Houston area. There is a system that's actually moving off towards the northeast and around the New York City, Washington, D.C. area. So if you have any flights heading out towards D.C. or New York City or Boston, they are looking at some pretty heavy rain out in that region. Let's look at our next system that's on the way. And so if you're heading in from, let's say, if you're heading to California, Southern California, we have another low pressure system that's churning out there. And this is going to be our rainmaker for Monday and into Tuesday. So Southern California looking at some rain, not really seeing that rain falling in around the Los Angeles area, but Vegas is looking at some heavy showers now moving into southern Nevada. But for us here across town, we are looking at heavy rain moving through the city of Houston, and that is having some lightning with it. So you probably woke up this morning with some rumbles of thunder. But the good news is that we're not looking at any severe weather. We're just looking at this rainfall that's really going to create some slick roadways across town, at least through the next couple of hours. And so you might want to give yourself enough time to get to the major airports. Maybe you're taking a cruise off towards Galveston. Maybe you want to just give yourself enough time to head on to your destination, because roadways are looking a bit slick out there as folks are waking up. I know we have a busy weekend ahead of us because a lot of folks are doing travel plans. They're going to be shopping for Thanksgiving, doing their early morning Thanksgiving plans to try to beat the crowds. But just keep in mind that we are starting off mostly rainy and a little bit stormy here across the city of Houston as you wake up this morning for our Saturday. This is something that we were talking about yesterday evening and yesterday afternoon. This was all a part of this cold front that is moving through. Here's a look right now. This is looking at the Galleria area, and you're just really not able to see out there because you have a combination of the rain, the fog, also the sun is rising, and so we are expecting to see some low visibility in some locations, especially across portions of southeast Texas as you wake up this morning. I'm going to go ahead and look at the fog factors now that I'm looking at this current picture here. And so as we look at the current visibility across town, we're going to go ahead and look at seeing that the visibility is actually quite low for areas south of Houston. So 0 miles out in Pearland. Angleton 0 miles. And so we are also dealing with not only rain, but we're also dealing with dense fog out there across town, especially south of Houston. Sun is rising. That's going to cause the fog to dissipate, but that really is not really going to do much in terms of the rainfall that we're expecting to see, at least for the next couple of hours. And so not only we're dealing with some fog, we're dealing with some heavy rain as well as that sun rising. So it is pretty hazy out there if you are out and about going into across town for this morning. And so if you are waking up and just now joining us on our live stream, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez, and we are waking up this morning with some pretty heavy rain in portions of Houston. We're not looking at any flooding concerns. It's been quite a while since we've seen this significant rain, but the good news is that no severe weather aspect with it. Not really seeing any flooding concerns, but also the thing to keep an eye on is the fact that we are looking at some slick roadways across town, and we could be looking at some ponding on roadways as we go into the nenext couple of hours. And so as we look at what's happening right now, we do have some heavy rain now moving into the city of Houston, affecting all of our major roadways, 45, even 610, I-10, closer towards Bunker Hill Village, even Memorial City looking at some heavy rain right now. But we will start seeing this improve through the day. And I think that the first half of our Saturday is going to be a bit wet and rainy, and then we will start seeing this rain chance start diminishing as we head into the afternoon hours. I know a lot of folks are trying to beat those crowds going into the grocery stores for your Thanksgiving shopping, but we are starting off mostly wet and rainy, especially off across the Houston area, and we are expecting this to linger at least through the early afternoon as this cold front continues to move south. I don't think this front's really going to bring us significantly cooler temperatures. It might bring some drier air for our northern areas, but we are expecting this to really start reaching the coast at least until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is when we could start seeing more of these isolated showers towards the Galveston area, as well as isolated lingering showers from Sugar Land to League City. So just keep that in mind that we are starting off wet and rainy, and for the next 7 days we are tracking a couple of weather systems that could potentially impact our travel concerns as we head closer towards Thanksgiving. Looking at our 7-day forecast, rain chances for today, we're going to be in a little bit of a break as we head into next week. However, as we go into looking at our situation for next week, we do have another system moving in on Monday and Tuesday. I know our Thanksgiving is supposed to be on Thursday, but that graphic has not been updated. I will make sure to update that as soon as after this live stream is over for the KHOU 11 news at 9 o'clock this morning. But we are expecting to see those conditions once again be a little bit rainy and just a little bit slick out there if you are making your way across our area roadways. So no severe weather, just ponding on roadways is what we're going to have to keep an eye on. I know folks are probably rushing to their destination. You don't want to be rushing in this weather because you could potentially run into a puddle of water that could cause some issues for you as we are starting to see about an inch and a half of rainfall in some locations across town, as well as some lightning. So it's looking like the lightning has diminished a little bit, but we're starting to see just that heavy rainfall moving along I-45 inside the Beltway. And so there's Bush Airport just north of the Sam Houston Tollway, and so just keep in mind that they're looking at some rainfall across our area roadways as we progress through the next hour or so. Of course, I'll be back here at 8 a.m. for another weather update for our normal 8 a.m. live stream, our extended live stream, and we'll also just keep an eye on the weather conditions, and we'll be keeping you up to date through the day. And make sure to tune in later on this morning for the KHOU 11 news at 9 a.m., of course, with myself and Trayson Bragg. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez tracking the rainfall for you, and we will give back here as soon as we see more updates as we see fit. Have a good and safe rest of your day.